New this morning, we've learned Pakistan's prime minister is traveling to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey today to try to set up another round of talks. The latest attempt at talks comes after the U.S. and Iran failed to reach an agreement after 21 hours this past weekend. So this morning, the U.S. military says it has fully implemented a blockade of Iranian ports. President Donald Trump says he hopes that this will force Iran to accept a peace deal. The two-week ceasefire that's currently in place ends next week. The federal government taking Connecticut to court. The DOJ filed a lawsuit against several leaders and a city here in Connecticut, saying certain policies here in the state block federal immigration enforcement. Your reporter Anna Stansfield live outside of New Haven City Hall this morning. Anna, what are some of the issues we're talking about right now?
Okay, good morning. The DOJ argues that several policies here in our state, including right here in the Elm City, infringe on ICE agents' ability to do their jobs properly. It's why the department has now filed this lawsuit against several leaders in our state who this morning are pushing back against this suit. The lawsuit names the governor, the attorney general, and the city of New Haven and its mayor, and it targets two policies. The first, the Trust Act, which prevents local and state law enforcement officers from carrying out federal immigration enforcement activities. Secondly, it targets New Haven's welcoming city order that bans workers from helping ICE unless an agent has a warrant. The DOJ says that interferes with federal immigration enforcement, but the city's mayor, Justin Elliker, says the policy is legal and has existed for years to make people feel safe.
In the city, we don't ask their immigration status because that is not our job. That is the federal government's job.
And Mayor Elliker also tells Channel 3 that he feels like this lawsuit is misleading and untruthful, telling us that he plans to fight it with everything he has. Now, it is also important to note that Connecticut isn't alone here. The DOJ has also filed similar lawsuits in cities like Los Angeles, Boston, and New York City. I'm your reporter live in New Haven, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.